Meme review. Man, I love that. Today, it's finally happening. We're making coffee. We're making specifically V60. Now, I know someone clicked this video and all you want is your ratios and to get out of here. So before I continue, here's what you're gonna be doing, okay? Here's the lowdown, here's the rundown. You're gonna use 30 grams of coffee, a total of 500 grams of water. You're gonna do 60 grams for a 30-second bloom, and then slow pour all the way to 500 grams. So for those of you that know what that means, then perfect. If you don't, that's okay. We're gonna walk through it and we're gonna make some coffee. Okay, are you in the shot? I don't know if you are. Today we are making V60. What items do you need to make this coffee, Sterling? What do you need to make coffee in such a delicious fashion? For this tutorial, you need a Kalita or a pour over or V60, whatever you want to call it. You need a scale. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it does need to weigh stuff accurately, like most scales. And you need hot water and some good coffee, okay? So, step one, make sure you get the right coffee, okay? Just gonna throw that out there. If the coffee bag says gourmet, it's not gourmet, okay? That doesn't even make sense. You can't trust the company that's calling their own coffee. Look for a bag that tells you, if it tells you the origins of the coffee and it tells you the tasting notes of it, they probably know what they're talking about. So look for something like that. Today, we are going to be using a coffee shop local here in Colorado called Two Rivers. They make excellent single origin roasts and they also do subscriptions. So I would recommend looking into it. This is my favorite subscription I ever had. So step one, we're gonna weigh out our coffee. Okay, put it on the scale. Wait till it beeps. It's not beeping because I switched the mode. Tear the scale to 0, okay? First we're gonna weigh out 30 grams of whole bean coffee. Prepare to get in my stomach. Grind that bad boy, okay? Waiting for the grinder. Checking on my audio levels. Okay, grinder has finished. And this is about the consistency we're looking for. In this case, this is what I brew with. Okay, coffee is now ground. Okay, great, delicious. Okay, step number next. Grab filter, place it there. Grab Kalita pour over thingy thing, and don't break glass items if you can. Place it in here. First thing you want to do is wet down the filter, okay? You want to make sure you get rid of any of the paper taste that is in a lot of these bleach filters or paper filters. So I like to wet it down, make sure that all that flavor, the nasty flavor of paper, no one likes to, well, some people eat paper, never mind. But the flavor of paper is gone, and it also will warm up this part a little bit, which is great, so that it does not do things that it shouldn't. So that's done. Now we have a cleaned out filter, our scale set to 0, a bunch of coffee, water, and we're ready to get going. Okay, pour your coffee in here. That should take your scale up to 30 grams. You're gonna take a little bit here to level it out. And now, the brewing process must begin. My scale has a built-in timer, so I use that. If not, just use your phone. I used to use that when I was in school. So here's what we're gonna do. Flatbed of coffee right now, right? We are going to do a blooming process. Now, the point of this is to let the carbon dioxide leave the coffee before the water tries to completely saturate it. Before the water tries to completely, science, okay? So we wanna let carbon dioxide out before we let the water in. So that's what the blooming process is. So we're gonna do 60 grams of water for 30 seconds, and you'll see this bubbling start to happen. That's the carbon dioxide leaving the coffee, okay? So 30 seconds. Start my timer and I'm gonna start pouring. Make sure I can get all these grounds wet. That sounds kind of nasty. And once we hit that spot, okay, 65 grams, I'm close, 60-ish. Okay, now you can see that bubbling happening. That's the carbon dioxide leaving the coffee before we completely saturate it, okay? Now when we're pouring after this, you wanna be careful not to go around the edges a lot, because then the coffee is just gonna slip right out the side and not saturate, but the water's gonna slip out the side. Okay, so we hit 30 seconds. And now we're gonna continue pouring, mostly through the middle, until the coffee grounds get completely saturated and the water starts to fill up, okay? What you wanna do here is slow pour. That's kind of a key. So pour it in circles all the way up, and then once you hit about halfway, 3/4, somewhere around that area, you're gonna mostly just pour it in the middle and pour at the same speed that the coffee's coming out, okay? The important thing here is to keep this whole like slurry up here the same temperature, because temperature changes the flavor profiles. So we're gonna keep it at about 193 degrees, which is what we set our water at beforehand, and just kind of slow pour it. I'm keeping an eye on the grams here, making sure we don't cross over 500. And just keep it chilling it in the middle. We're getting close to 500 here. 93, 95, up now. Ooh, right on 100. Okay, water goes away. We're at 500 grams of coffee and about 2 minutes into our brew, hoping to end at around 2 minutes 45 seconds. So we're looking pretty good. Now, the water is gonna start to go down. Isn't that smart, Sterling? Wow, shine. But you want to actually take the brew before it's completely done finishing because there's a lot of sediment. It's kind of like getting the end of a coffee pot, right? That's not very good. So, right as this brew finishes, we're gonna take it away before the water goes completely away. So, we're just gonna watch it with our eyeballs and think about the things you have to do later in the morning and stuff like that. You know, I like to look at it. So we're about 2 minutes 40 seconds, so we're running right at about 2:45. If your brews are taking longer than like 3 minutes 15 seconds, adjust your grind to be more coarse. 2:45, okay, right about there. The water's not completely gone. I'm going to take it off, okay? Good. Okay, now we have coffee. Next thing you do, be a good human being. Rinse your thing when it's done. Don't leave it in the sink, man. Rinse it. Keep it clean, bro. Keep it clean. Okay, that is the completion of how I make coffee, okay? That is it. It is delicious. This makes about, well, it makes 500 grams. That's a measurement, okay? Keep in mind, this is my everyday process for the most part, but it doesn't have to be yours. It's a little extravagant, but this is, it's not just making coffee. It's not putting anything in Keurig, but that whole process for me is something that I can like focus on and like pay attention to. So that's kind of the point of it. If you really start to understand coffee and like get a deep knowledge in like what's going on in the flavor, what's going on in the scent, stuff like that, then you'll start to understand why that brew method would be, you know, maybe useful for you. I'm gonna do more coffee tutorials, probably run over some cold brew, maybe even the dragon. Yeah, it's dusty because we don't use it that often. Now that I have done it, I hope you all are pleased with me. Step 4, drink it. It is delicious. But for real, actually, I'm not sponsored by them, but it would be cool if I was. If you guys are just getting into single origin coffees and you're like, frick, I don't know what I'm looking for, you guys need to look into Two Rivers Coffee. They make some of the best roast that I've ever had. That's how I make coffee. That's how I do it. That's the process. It's a bit of a, you know, process. I already said that. This is how you drink the coffee when it is complete. Okay, don't drink it like that, because then you have way too much acidity. Well, man, I don't know how to end videos, man. Every freaking time I just... Hey, but now that it's just you and me, why don't you come on over? I'll make you a glass. Slow motion. Why am I doing this? There's no one here. I am pathetic. Oh my gosh. Alright, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, 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 bye. Meme review. Meme review.